Hello world and welcome back. After the reaction to the first video of the series of the amazing cards, we decided to make a new episode.
It's a difficult job, man, because you know that the second job usually of an artist is the most difficult. The second, not the third, not the first.
Yes, because now you have expectations. You have to make it a very special video.
What we can talk about, man?
Software engineering is too obvious.
Software engineer
Too
all
obvious.
the time, very boring.
Take a surprise. Talk about UX, service design.
Very interesting topic but we don't know enough, man. We can search on ChatGPT.
ChatGPT, but that would not be really original. We don't want to be that guy that makes a video by ChatGPT. And if only we knew some service designer.
Ooh, Valentina.
Valentina!
We have to try to call Valentina.
What time? It's too late.
Probably she's eating now, man, because in Italy now is dinner time. For Italian, dinner is very important.
Look, we can try to call.
We can try.
And if she's not available, she's not gonna pick up,
Yes,
right?
let's try to call.
Let's try.
Hi guys, what's up?
Oh, Vale. Hello.
Hi.
Sorry to bother you. We had the discussion here, making a video, and we wanted your help, but probably you're not in the mood.
I'm always in the mood for helping friends.
She's too good. She's too good.
Yes.
So, would you want to be in a video about service design and UX?
Service design and UX? You can't believe it. Today I'm just working on a presentation about that.
Oh, what a coincidence. Then maybe it's our lucky day. This would be definitely an amazing episode. And as Pepe said in the previous episode,
Wait till the end. Very important.
so
Hey, we have also a fact about the frog and the milk. If you watch it till the end, you will know it.
yeah, probably don't wait until the end for this one. It's not worth it. But Pepe, you can say it at the end if you want.
If they wait, I will say. If they don't wait, they won't say it.
Okay. So, Valentina, tell us about you. What are you doing? What is exactly your profession?
Well, I'm a service designer. I've been studying especially systemic design.
What is a systemic design?
Systemic design is an approach that tries to see the world as an holistic system. So you just need to see each part of every system, especially if you take, for example, a business or a product, and try to see the connections, the exchanges of information or goods or money, any kind of exchange between the stakeholders of the system. A service designer studies a business in each part of it, so each stakeholder, and tries to analyze not only the user experience but also the backstage of the product, so everything that is necessary to provide a service.
Whoa, a lot to process here. So far I thought service design was like a buzzword, like I hear it everywhere, but I'm not really sure exactly what it does. What is the
Yeah. Can you make it an example?
would help?
You study the moment that you decide that you want to do the Nutella, the moment that you have people working to produce the Nutella, the graphics that you need to do to advertise the Nutella. The moment that the user decides to throw away the trash with your Nutella and what happens next. So the whole cycle of the life of the product and the backstage of the product. So everything that is needed to be done to provide the product.
Okay, so first of all, I wouldn't need a lot of advertisement for Nutella. I would buy it very easily, but I know what you're saying. So it's basically so much more than just how it's presented, not just UI UX. I thought it was very closely related to UI UX.
Yes, it is. In fact, you can see it as a one whole thing, the service. There is the service designer that has a bird eye view of the whole service. And then there is the UX that takes care of the interface with the user. So either if it is a digital product or if it is a physical product, the UXer studies the interaction between the user and the product. So I think it's a matter of zoom. The service designer has a very wide view, and the UXer has a zoom-focused view on the user experience.
And then UI?
And the UI puts the colors in it.
So it's another zoom.
See, as the UXer tries to study the behavior, like the navigation in the product, or why a button should be there or should be somewhere else. The UI tries to understand what color can help better, what kind of font can help better, what kind of graphics could help better. So it just the second layer, how to say it.
Very interesting.
It's actually very interesting. I really like this depiction about zooming in. So we start from the service design, then we go to the UX, and then we zoom even more to reach the UI.
Very nice. But we are developer. I told you already. We see the world really in gray. What the designer expect from a developer?
I think it depends a lot on what kind of project you are trying to realize, to build. If the quality is at stake, so you want something pixel perfect, then maybe I would expect that you try to help me create the design as I thought it. So maybe every little animation or colors or every detail is very important. But if you are working for agility, like you want to get out of the building and be on the market as soon as possible, then it's not the case. Maybe I would expect you to try to help me. So maybe you have questions, and you developers are the only one who can help me figure out what's the quickest way to do something. So maybe I have an idea for a feature, and I think it should be done that way to be quick. But you can tell me, no, wait, if we are not doing customization or we are using just this template and so on and so other, then we can do it in 2 days instead of 7 days.
Makes sense. Now I have a question for you, man. What developer expect from a designer?
Oh, that is actually a very good question. Always, especially in mobile, many UI designers are focused on web. So
Yes,
we have even more of a problem there because we need some things a little bit more specialized, like the icons, the whole idea of something being responsive is not the same as it's in web. Because we have many screen sizes, we have some resolutions, and it's even more important to pay attention to the performance. Because you get a performance hit if you take a wrongly optimized asset, for example. So in the best case scenario, I think we expect some very clear designs that follow the material guidelines if it's for Android, or follow the Apple guidelines if it's for iOS. Even if you have a perfect back button and you don't see that it's a back button because it's not in the place it was supposed to be, then is it really a good design, or is it just a nice artistic representation of a screen?
Once I've been asked to put the back button, that usually is on the left part, on the right part, because for the people that are mostly right-handed, it's easily to reach the right part of the screen. So I had this discussion with the UX designer. I say, okay, but Google wants to put in the left. I say, but you can do it? Yes, I can do it, but it's like forcing a bit the system because all users are used to see the button there. So there is, I think, a compromise, a trade-off between the creativity of the UXer and the guidelines in Google. How do you see this, Vale?
Yeah, guidelines are important, but it's also important to remember that you can always break the rules. I like the case study of a famous app for learning languages, where the retention team, to try and experiment ways to increase the frequency of use, instead of solving problems, they try to add frictions. And by deleting the pre-selection of an option of the strict goal for the user, they actually saw that not only they didn't lose users in that point of the funnel, but also they increased the frequency of use. So well done.
Perfect. So that makes absolute sense. And I want to touch on a little sensitive topic when it comes to UI designs: animations. You don't really get animations often declared to you by the UI designers. Should it be a responsibility of the designer or the developer to figure out what's the proper animation to use?
I think that we have limited creativity. I don't know why. Probably is in the engineer way of thinking. I've seen, for example, Valentina at work. She has a creativity man that you can't even find in a century. So I will give to UX, UI, total freedom on that, of course. Then we move a bit like I can imagine there is this painting very famous of this castle that is like flying over a rock. So it's amazing, but you can imagine the architecture goes to the engineer. I want to do this castle that flies over the. It's very nice, but we have to face also the reality of the things.
How you can always find the best way to give an example. It's impressive. Now this was a very good example, really.
I know, man.
So you're saying that it's better to have the idea by the UI designer that's like in general more creative than us developers who can only see
Yes.
black and white and some squares. But then it's our job as engineers to put some limitations on what is the best way to show this. Is that
Yes.
right, Valentina?
Yeah, I agree. Also, animations are the first things you're usually cutting out because you need to deliver on time. So
The limitation of time is always a problem that accumulates some tech debt and also some animation debt, as it seems.
But something that usually the customer, the company don't understand is that the user interface is the first thing that the customer see. So it's like when you meet a person, the first impression that you have. Of course, you can change impression, but if you have already a good impression at the beginning, then probably your relationship with your app will be better, I think. So it's very important to put an eye on this part. Thank you a lot for your job, guys. Really, I loved it.
Yes,
part.
basically wouldn't be able to create something beautiful without you guys. And that brings me to the final question, a bonus question. We've said so far about what a service designer is, and I think we've highlighted how important it is for us developers to have a proper UI and UX guideline in our team. The question is, when do we need a service designer in our team? Is it always, or are there some cases that it's not so necessary?
I would say it's always, but I'm a service designer, so
It's a bit biased. She's a bit biased.
well, I would go anyway with always because service designer is not only the one who designs the service, but he also monitors and keeps checking how it's going and whether users like it, where there are points of failure, what touch points are not well. And so it's not only about building a product or a service, but it's also about keep improving it. So it's about innovation. That's why you should always have a service designer in your business.
I think that is like investing. It's like when you invest and you want to do a good project, you invest a little bit of time like understanding what you have to do. This is two different approach. With a service design, probably you avoid a lot of failure because the service design gives you like, okay, you don't need to go from this way, you don't need to go from this way, this is the way. So it saves you a lot of time. I think that with the service design is like it's night and you have someone with a light that can see. Probably if you go from that street, there is a wall.
Yeah.
Another amazing example.
Exactly, Valentina.
I am
Thank
example
you.
guy.
He's an example guy, and this is why he's such a great engineer, because he can not only understand it himself, he can help you understand it as well. I would like to say a huge thank you to Valentina for joining us today. This was a very enlightening video. I've learned a lot, and I take away also that you always need a service designer in your team. It's an investment, and if you're serious about your product, you should definitely have one in your team.
It's been a pleasure, Vale.
Thank you, guys. It was an honor, and anytime you need me, you can call. Hope to see you soon. Thank you very much.
Grazie mille, Vale.
Now it's time for us to hear
time
the
for the
story
story.
about the frog and the milk.
It's a very interesting story. But we cut this.
We're not gonna cut this.
There were two frogs in a big bowl of milk. How did they finish in the bowl is another story, probably in another video. And one frog started to say, oh, hey, there is a milk. I will die like this. Like, she kept drawing herself like, oh, and died. The other frog said, no, I want to swim so hard that the milk became butter, became solid, and she escaped after that. So it means that you try till the end. Probably if you are a frog and if you are in the milk, you will survive. And we will cut this also as well.
No, this will not cut, because the aftermath is never give up, basically. This is what you're telling us.
Never give up, guys. Please.
Because
try
you
it.
can make butter. That's
Grazie.
it. That's it, guys.